Mama, we made it. What it do though? Ladies and gentlemen, your two favorite uncles, Uncle Nushi,
Uncle Roushi,
are back in the motherfucking building, and we have an extremely special guest here with us tonight. My brother Danny Williams. What it do, baby?
Hey, what up? How y'all doing?
Phenomenal.
Awesome.
I want to let it be known for the record, this man has taken his health into consideration, has lost a tremendous amount of weight, and is looking absolutely gorgeous at the moment.
Thank you.
You can just tell he's glowing right now.
Thank you.
For real.
Thank you.
And this is one of the very first video episodes that we're doing, y'all, so enjoy. That's all I can say.
For sure.
How you been, baby?
I've been good.
Just got back from Colombia. How was the trip?
Amazing.
Phenomenal.
It was amazing. I fell in love with that place for sure.
I feel you. Your pictures were incredible, bro.
Thank you.
I literally felt like I was in the back alleys of Colombia.
Everybody said the photos looked like they were right there.
Crazy.
So,
and just the colors too in Cartagena is
and literally, Roushi had a honeymoon not too long ago in Colombia.
It's amazing. Beautiful country. Highly recommended.
I'm the odd apple out over here.
Yeah.
No Colombia experience.
You gotta go. You'll love it.
I believe that.
You'll love it for sure.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
This has been a long time coming. It's an honor for us to be able to go through your journey on this platform.
Thank you.
For real. I truly feel that, it's an honor for us, and it's very special that you're allowing us to do so.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Definitely rare times.
Yeah.
I don't really let too many people inside.
Absolutely.
So,
I'm glad these uncles are ready to take it there. You feel me?
Always.
For sure.
My brother, let's start with where you grew up. Were you born in LA? Native Angelino?
Native, born and raised.
Native Angelino.
Yeah, born and raised.
What part?
I grew up mid-city.
Okay.
So, you know where Kaiser is on La Cienega and Cadillac?
Yes.
Right over there, like Point View.
Wow.
Like Point View and like 18th Street.
Wow.
But before that, I lived like Shenandoah off Cadillac, like by Robertson. So,
that's where I live right around now. Yeah.
Were you in that area for the majority of your early childhood?
Definitely. Okay. Definitely. Like my parents moved from New York to LA. Okay. And then I popped out. But then they moved to like Riverside and Inglewood before they settled like right off Cadillac and Shenandoah.
Got you.
From like 1 to 10, I was over there. And then from like 10 on, like my mom moved by Laces.
Got you.
So.
Any siblings?
Yeah. Brother, sister, and then a whole nother side of just people that,
Okay.
I'm not really rocking with.
Okay.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay. What was childhood like?
It was cool. It was fun. Like my mom is Jamaican, so
Jamaican women are extremely strong.
Man, and that whole thing about Jamaicans having 5 jobs is like real. Like
elaborate.
Like my mom, like she was at CBS for 20 something years, maybe 25 years. So it was like when she was climbing the ranks through CBS, at the same time she was like running the pool at Rancho Cienega. She was working at Talbot's at the Beverly Center. She was like driving old ladies around. She was tutoring, like
really
just to like give us, like we weren't poor, but she wasn't rich. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Just to hit that middle class mark of just comfort.
Just to be like, Mom, I want a Sega Genesis. She could go get it because she had 5 jobs.
Did you recognize that as a kid though? Like, my mom has 5 jobs. She's working her ass off. Or was it just so automatic and so just ingrained?
You know what? I did recognize it because there was a lot of times where she wasn't there. So it was like, yo, I'm working. I'll bring something home to eat on the way home. You know what I mean? So it was like me and my sister, my brother, we'd be like, But at the time, you recognize that your mom has multiple jobs, but you don't realize why. Or like, or like what the financial situation is. Because her and my dad split kind of early. So it was like, she had to do everything. Yeah. Because I didn't really rock with him, and like the rest of the family didn't really rock with him. Like now they do. I don't, but
I feel you.
It was just like, it was single mom, you know?
Oh, wow.
So,
Can we take a second to literally just like appreciate the value and the strength of single mothers? Though.
For sure.
You feel me?
100%.
Like these women put their lives and their own families' lives on their back and run with it.
For sure. I'm actually doing a project about that coming soon. I can't really talk because it's in development.
Okay.
It's about single mothers.
Really?
So hopefully
That's going to be special.
Yeah, there's some real networks that are like trying to put their hands like
incredible.
But like we're shooting soon, so
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. I can't wait to hear more as it develops.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Definitely.
What were you like as a child? And what was growing up in like the heart of LA as a child?
You know what? Me growing up, I gotta be honest, like my parents splitting up like fucked with me heavy.
Really?
How old were you when it happened?
I wanna say 6.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Got it.
And just, you know, you see your parents together and then you see them not together. But then it's like, I saw like the fights and like the cops getting called and like I understood, but I didn't really understand. You know what I mean? So it fucked with me a lot to the point where my mom's already Jamaican, so our blood is like hotter. So like my temper was just like out of control.
Really?
And aside from that, sorry, I cried a lot too.
Really?
Like even on the baseball field and like sports, like we'd be winning.
Yeah.
But something would happen. I'd be so emotional. Like I'd be on the mound, like crying, but throwing strikes. Like, you know what I mean?
Was this like after, like post it happening?
Yeah, it was post.
So like as you're growing up, these emotions are coming out
For sure. And it was just like, you know, there was times where like, yeah, we'll like do counseling or we'll like try to, but every time I'd be like, nah.
Was it one of those scenarios where your parents or your mom kind of had to have that talk of like, listen, this is what's going down. This is what's going on?
Not really, because I kind of knew what was popping.
Okay.
And it was like to the point where like my dad would come to like pick us up and I'd be like, no, I'm not going. But he'd like call the cops like, I need you guys to help me get my son to come with me.
Stop playing.
And they'd come and they'd be like, well, he's kind of.
Stop playing.
He's kind of like knows what's going on. He doesn't want to go. Like we're not going to force him to go.
Sure.
Like that happened at least 3 times.
Wow.
So it's just like, my mom never really was like, this was going on. But at some point she was like, you're the man of the house now. Cause my brother was like in the Bay going to school. Like he was going to Berkeley.
Oh,
So
he's
it was like,
much older then.
Yeah, so
Got you.
it was just like, you're the man of the house. So
What was that like for you, like looking back?
it was cool, but it was also kind of scary because my mom's working multiple jobs. It's like, 11 p.m. It's like just me and my sister. What are we gonna do? Let's eat some hot dogs and
For sure.
crackers and cheese or make toast. But like, I'm like, is my mom gonna make it back? You know what I mean? So
for sure.
And it's crazy to deal with like that trauma too, like as a kid, and it's coming out like that. It's funny because you know you actually hear about that more. I feel with adults. Actually, I've heard about it more with adults where you realize, you know, adults who have like anger issues or, things like that obviously stems from your childhood, right?
For sure.
And unless you like realize how hardwired it is, it's going to affect your whole life. But as a kid, to feel those feelings and like feel that angst and feel these angers so outwardly as a kid.
Yeah.
You were an emotional kid.
For sure. I was definitely an emotional kid, and I feel like I'm still an emotional person.
For sure.
But that's important. So many, it's because it's so easy to hold that in, especially
absolutely
being in a position of like man of the house.
Yeah.
Where did you battle with like, I got to toughen up, or did you ever feel like, why the fuck am I crying? I need to.
I think like the crying stuff was like a result of holding in emotions and then like letting it get to like a boiling point where it was just like, I didn't know crying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A release.
Exactly. But it was like, I don't feel like I had to toughen up at all. I just feel like, I don't know. I just dealt with stuff that most people weren't dealing with.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
So I feel like that toughen up mentality that you can have, especially as a young boy.
Yeah.
Around other peers who are playing sports.
For sure.
Makes you have those issues later on because you're trying to conceal so much.
Definitely.
And holding it in and being like, nah, I'm all good. But it's like you're raging inside.
For sure. It was just tough because I understood what my dad did. You know what I mean? Like, you cheated. You know, you cheated on my mom, and like, you broke up the family. So it was like, I saw that and I was just like,
resentment.
For sure. To this day.
For sure.
Like, my siblings fuck with him. Okay, I can curse, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, my siblings fuck with him, but I just can't. I mean, we'll probably, in later years.
For sure.
We'll get to like something in this combo where I'll tell you other stories that how my relationship with him, you know, came to like breaking points, you know what I'm saying? But it was just like, from jump, I knew what was going on. So it's cool.
What was your school experience like early on?
My mom actually did a great job of doing the school stuff right. Like, she had me in magnet schools. Like, I don't know when they tested me or whatever. Yeah. But like, she made sure like the school was, you know.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to a school, like a kindergarten called Alpha, which was like a private, like Montessori type thing. And then I went to Marcus Garvey for a little bit. And then from there I went to Baldwin Hills Elementary, which is like it was like an accelerated magnet.
Awesome.
And then went to Palms, which had like another magnet. And then Hamilton High School on Robertson,
that's a magnet,
which was a humanities magnet.
Yeah.
Wow. So then they had Music Academy and all that other shit. So
yeah,
whether they funneled us that way or like, you know, friends, you're like, yo, where you going next? We followed each other, whatever. But my mom made sure like the school was, you know, legit.
Were you always on top of your studies? Was that something that was like bestowed upon you by your mom?
She did, but I didn't listen.
Gotcha.
Like, I'm a notorious B- C+ student.
Okay.
Not because I'm stupid or I can't do the book work. I could kill that shit, but I just was like bored.
Gotcha.
And just like probably still thinking about family stuff.
For sure.
Just thinking about just like other stuff. I just hated school. I loved being in school, but just the book work was just like not my thing.
At that point in those times, did you have outlets? Like, was there things that you were finding that you liked more or that you were more drawn to?
For sure. My mom had us in all that stuff. Like, even before we can go outside and play, she'd like make us recite like the multiplication tables.
Awesome.
Like, you got to tell me all the 12s before you go outside. What's 8 times 7? You know, like, just, she would drill us on that.
Yeah.
But like, in terms of outlets, she'd like enforce like arts and crafts. She'd enforce camps.
That's incredible.
Like, okay, this summer you go on a USC camp to be with, you know, your friends and be with black people. But then she'd switch it up the next year and send me to UCLA camp. You know what I mean? So I don't know what
the foresight she had, though,
she
bro.
was just on some, I don't know her vision back then, but she had it. Like, and then, you know, she, you know, say, yo, they have music at school. Like, you should pick up something like flute, violin, whatever. So either or, she was like, you got to do something. And the sports was heavy. So like, I played sports from jump, from like 7 years old, like all through high school.
Yeah.
So that was a major outlet for sure. Like, I definitely thought I was going to do something sports wise until I like stopped growing. Like, once I didn't hit 6 feet, I was just like, yeah, it's all right.
Well, what was your sport of choice?
I love football, but I love basketball too. And I was really good at baseball. So
got you.
Yeah,
the trifecta
for sure.
I
played
feel
all
that.
3 the whole time.
Were you a creative kid?
Definitely, for sure. We were drawing, like me and my sister would draw and paint all the time. But then around like 10 years old, like I feel like I started like getting into photography.
Oh,
because my mom, she moved from Jamaica to New York when she was 20 or 21. So like, she was saying the culture shock from moving from Jamaica to New York City was just like, you know,
tremendous, bro.
Like, to go from that country to New York City
Polar
at 21
opposite.
years old is like, so she said she was just like blown away.
Yeah.
So she dealt with it by having cameras and like taking photos of stuff.
Wow.
So when we were growing up, you know, we might not have the newest toys, but there was always like stuff laying around. It'll be like this weird looking camera here, or this disposable there, or a film camera there. She'd be like, here.
Wow.
So like I started like just picking up those things and just like, you know, snapping away. And she always took photos of everything. Like she has the craziest photo albums.
Really?
And then there was a point in time where like I remember my dad having like a couple cameras around too. So like at a young age, like the camera was like something I like gravitated towards for sure.
Incredible.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy like how we think about film then versus now.
For
just
sure.
like being like it's so every photo means so much, especially because you don't see anything.
Yeah.
So I always think about that dynamic of photographers growing up in this age versus like 10-year-old kids now versus 10-year-old kids back then.
Crazy.
Where you had like a disposable camera and you're taking a shot and you're going to see it in 3 weeks from now when like you send it to like
For real.
right like Thrifty's like, yo, let me get that.
For sure.
Yeah. And just the creativity that you had to do and the risk that you had to do, like, all right, let me get this shot and that
Absolutely.
exercise.
Yeah, I remember being in high school and like convincing my dean and like the head of the humanities to like, I don't know what the name of the project was, but as a senior, you have to like do like a thesis, or like everybody's writing like 50-page essays and they're doing like the craziest thing. And I was just like, look, I'm going to do a photo essay on Los Angeles. It's going to document A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Like, can I do it? They're like, yeah, just start it and start showing us. So I'd like start taking photos. Just like I followed my friends all summer and just like a summer in LA for us, you know, being 17 years old. And I just started like developing the photos and started showing the dean. He's like, yeah, just do 50 photos and you're good.
Wow.
So
Really?
at that point, like high school is when like photography and film like really took a turn for me. I was just like, yo, this could be something I'm into.
That's interesting.
Like my mom, she would always have us like running around like on set because she's at CBS. So it's like, she'd show us The Price is Right set. She'd show us like soap operas, walk us through the hallways, and just like, so like being little, like I saw that stuff, but like it didn't really click. But then obviously I think subliminally, like it just, like I just started seeing like, okay, film and photography could be something that I'm into.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's like a majestic wonderland, like going through, especially as a kid.
It was crazy. Like I would like all the little jacuzzis and that people were winning on TV. Like I was like peeing and jumping around and all that shit, like before they won it. So it was cool.
I must, especially coming out of sports.
Yeah.
Something, because I want to kind of touch on that too. Like when you're an athlete and you're all in on it, thinking this is what you're going to do, it really can consume you
For sure.
and also consume your identity. It's not like tons of athletes are necessarily creatives.
Yeah.
Even though they may be, it's just like the time spent is
For sure.
you know, being physical and working out. And,
Definitely.
so to make that leap, that jump,
Yeah.
did it feel natural, or did it feel like risky, or did it feel like you were discovering kind of a new part of yourself? Like what was that kind of like leaving sports to go pursue kind of this, that
The
shift?
craziest thing is it wasn't an immediate jump from sports to film photography first, because in high school, when I made that jump, I was like heavy, like in the record industry. Like, cause my brother used to manage the Black Eyed Peas. He worked with like Cypress Hill, House of Pain, Mountel Jordan. Like he worked at Buzztone Management and Immortal Records. So it was like, he would always bring back stuff, you know, early, like to me. So like music was heavy in the household.
Oh,
like
wow.
my mom has like thousands of records. So like she's always playing music growing up. But my brother being in the music industry, I thought that was what I was going to make money in. Like I thought, okay, I'm going to graduate high school. I'm going to work at a record label, be an A&R.
This is your older brother?
Yeah, my older brother. So 12th grade is when I made the full jump of like leaving sports, because like 10th grade, I like started a street promotions company. It was called like Unlimited Forces or something. You know, back then Wu-Tang is huge.
Yep.
It was just like, we had a crazy name.
That was in that time. That was like an incredible moment for hip hop.
That was crazy. Like I grew up in the greatest era of music, like to me. So it was like, I just said to myself, like, all right, I got 8 homies. I know 10 record labels that I met through my brother. I'm going to write a proposal. I wrote a 10-page proposal, like on whatever was back then. And I just detailed to each label, look, I got A people. We're going to do A, B, C, D. We're going to drive to every high school there is. We're going to lock down 10 high schools and promote whatever projects you have. So I hit up Loud Records, Def Jam, Death Row, Columbia, RCA. I had 10 record labels giving us like $2,000 a month.
Crazy.
10 of them. And this is 10th. This is 10th grade.
Wow.
So like we'd get that money. We'd give like the homies like, you know.
Did that kind of initiative come from your brother having a knowledge base, or how'd you even get to the point of writing a proposal and saying, look, I see this being a marketplace that I can add value to?
He was in promotions and marketing and management, but I think I just said, I see what's missing. And it was the high school kids. Like it was like at that, you know, back then there's music videos, like, but everybody was like pitching to the adults.
Sure.
So I was just like, why can't somebody come perform at school? So I was doing that. I would tell the record labels that we were dealing with, yo, there's 2,000 kids in my high school. Can the Alcoholics or Mobb Deep or Wu-Tang or somebody from Wu-Tang come perform at lunch for 30 minutes? They'd be like, yeah.
To them, they're like, wait, hold on. How did we not think of this?
Yeah. So I was like doing that. And then I just wrote the proposal and I would just give like the homies, I don't remember what I was giving them, but it obviously wasn't enough because it dissipated after a while. But it was to the point where I was just like, I had got into an argument with like the baseball coach because I had my hat backwards, and he's like, yo, if you don't give me 50 push-ups right now for your hat backwards, you're off the team. But by that time we were making $20,000.
Unfucking real.
So I was like, 50, I'm not doing 50 push-ups. You know what? Fuck baseball.
Wow.
And I just walked out the locker room, and from that point, 11th grade, sports was over.
Wow.
And I was just like, I'm done with sports. I'm making money.
Crazy.
Music is what it is. Like,
wow.
And then how the music tied into the photography was, we didn't get paid until we physically went to the events, passed out the stickers, the posters, the t-shirts, the merch, took photos of everything, had to go develop the photos, bring the photos back to show the label. This isn't like you can't email the label.
No.
We had to shoot, develop, and take it all the way to Santa Monica to show them.
Yeah.
Then we got our check.
Wow.
So it was like, even back then, photography was tying into, you know, what I was doing. So high school is when I just,
I want to take a second and ask you this, because it seems like it got to a point where you kind of became developed into a leader.
For sure.
Amongst the pack.
For sure.
Right. What were your friends like, and what was the group that you surrounded yourself like to develop into this?
Man, it's crazy because my group of friends were like, we actually kind of mimicked like a Wu-Tang. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, not that I sought out, you know, having a group of friends that were like the best people at school or like the most interesting, but I just gravitated towards those people. So it was like the people in my group, a lot of them were MCs, a lot of them were actors, and then the rest of them were like real street dudes. You know what I mean? Like, I was the only one that grew up on the West Side. Yeah. Everybody else is like, you know, some of my friends that back then had never been to the Beverly Center. Wild. You know, because they grew up on 106 in Avalon. You know what I mean? So it was like, that's who I was surrounded by, like people that, you know, also had other goals to, you know, be an MC or be, you know, an athlete or be a rapper or be an actor. So, and one of my best friends actually was an actor on Nickelodeon. Oh, wow. So like we, you know, we didn't have the best of the best, but we were able to like get to places
for sure
and get into things that a lot of other people weren't.
Absolutely.
I mean? Like, I remember going to Summer Jam and seeing Biggie. You know what I mean? Or just being in the House of Blues at 15 years old.
Crazy.
You know, my brother looking at me like, what are you doing in here? You're not old enough. And, you know, back then my mom was just like, look, you can go to whatever you need to go to, but you have to get up at 7:00 and go to school. So like back then I was like 14, 15 years old. I'm going downtown to watch Mobb Deep. And like and they're doing shows that,
and we don't have Uber and these types of things back then. Like, let it be known.
There's none of this. Like, we had to get on the bus, we had to beg for rides, we had to like do a lot of stuff to get there.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm trying to think of something or a spot. Imagine Jay-Z performing at the Dime on Fairfax.
Crazy.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So like that's when I saw, the greatest.
Unreal.
In venues like that.
In such an intimate vibe.
You know what I mean? So it was like those are the days that I like grew up. So it was fun.
That's a special time, man.
What was it like for you, and what did you kind of learn through the process of working with these labels, and also working with connecting kind of like the label sphere and the artist world with the youth culture?
Yeah.
Because you kind of seemed like at that point were not only the glue and the bridge amongst your friends, but you also, just with that being said, became the conduit to the record industry and the youth culture. And also LA in and of itself is a natural bubble
for sure
when it comes to media and entertainment.
For
like
sure.
in LA, in New York, in these select areas, it's like it's vibrant and robust.
Definitely. I think the first thing was learning that, business wise, they didn't give a fuck how old we were.
Okay.
And everybody would try to get over. And then even at that time, there were like other street promotion companies, grown men, whether like, at the time we're 15, 16.
Sure.
The people we're competing with were 30 years old, 35 years old, 36 years old. So it was like, not that it was like gangs, but it was kind of like warriors.
For
like,
sure.
There wasn't just one promotion
That trips
company.
me out how archaic it was.
Yeah,
like that old.
So like, it was like, people were like, yo, like you heard those kids like, yo, how did they get that account? How did they get Death Row Records? How did they get Columbia? How did they get, and it was like my brother kind of threw alley-oops like, my little brother wants to promote. Like, so it was like, I learned that a lot of people would try to double cross us because of how young we were, but also that we had to have our business together. Like our contract, our proposal had to be together, and just, we learned a lot by building relationships with people. And I use that to this day. I truly believe it's, it's what you know, but it's also who you know.
Absolutely.
And relationships go further. Like,
absolutely.
We wouldn't just, get on the phone and say, what do you guys have? Like, we ditch school and drive to Santa Monica and just kick it in the label and just really build with the project manager, whoever was like giving us.
Were you guys utilizing the juvenile nature of your age and just asking questions and then being dumb per se and just figuring all the little loopholes out, because it's like, damn, it's a 15-year-old kid asking me that.
Right.
You're not a career promoter yet.
We use that to our advantage, but at the same time, to go what you said with the youth thing, like we really played on that, like just having ideas. Like there was this group that Be Real had. It was a group called Cycle Round, and like their logo was like a character in like a gas mask. So we were like, yo, what if when Cycle Round was performing, what if all of us put on gas masks and throw the merch out from the stage? And like, I just remember the label just like, oh my God.
Brilliant.
Like if you think about it, like it's the most corny idea, but it was like, we came up with that idea.
For sure.
The label didn't think about it. And they were just like, yo, that's dope. So like even back, I think to this day, like labels don't know what they're doing, but even back then they had no idea.
For sure.
There's a small percentage of people in labels that are really in tune with what's going on in the street and know what they're doing.
Absolutely.
But a large majority, in my opinion, have no idea. Like they got that job through knowing somebody else.
Yeah.
Or,
because you can only really know by being in the trenches.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people like. The biggest misconception is like, just because you're in the system doesn't mean like you have the gateway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
People always say, not industry, but in the streets. And we really, were in the streets.
Yeah.
Because we had to promote Crenshaw High, Dorsey High, LA High, Uni, Palisades, Hamilton, Westchester, like Locke, Manual Arts. We hit every high school.
Unreal.
Like just 5 people to a car.
That had to be crazy.
Pulling up leaving our school to like get to Westchester at 3 p.m. when they let out, and just handing people like when Wu-Tang's second album dropped, we had 50 CDs 50 records, 50 cassette tapes. Like, we had it before it dropped.
Unreal.
And just like seeing kids go crazy was like, because we were all experiencing hip hop and what was going on at the same time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's the interesting part of it, because, you know, when you're a kid, like, you're going to go either work at like Jamba Juice or like
Right.
Sports Chalet, or, you know,
Right.
like Anchor Blue, whatever you got to do.
For sure. It's like we couldn't stream or like see if something was gonna be dope. Like you gotta look at the
you
photo.
had to see it in person,
or like look at the album cover. Like, yo, this might be dope. You know, so like listening and growing up through hip hop was just a whole different time.
And also the work you're doing isn't just like a normal job. It's like there's something much bigger going on here. And that's kind of what I'm curious about, is like, this thing isn't just about, let's just do this to get money. It's
Right.
it's so wrapped up in a community. It's so wrapped up in a culture,
For sure.
in a time, in what you're into. How did all those really come together? And like, what motivated you to like really keep that going? Because as a kid, you know, it's like a tug of war between just having fun
Right.
and working. Nobody really wants to work as a kid.
For sure.
How do you kind of keep that growing into an actual business?
Honestly, at that time, you know, at that age, you're super, you know, kids can be, what's the word when like kids are influenced by just what they see on TV? I mean,
impressionable.
We were very, very impressionable. Like, when Woo Wear is dropping for the first time ever, we said to ourselves, like, why don't we have clothes? So a week later, we drew our own logo, took it to the screen printer.
I feel y'all.
Printed
Initiative to the maximum
Yeah,
over
man.
here.
Printed up 50 hoodies, 11th grade, you know, hoodies, t-shirts, beanies. Like, we had our own shit. But it's because we saw people we wanted to aspire to be like doing it. You know, so it's funny. Like, even like people say like all these clothing brands, and like we was doing that 10th grade.
Wow.
Like, clothing is not my passion.
Yeah.
But I know we had clothes in 10th grade.
I feel you.
And this is Doc. I have photos, like, I'll send you whatever. But like, so it was like, at that age, we were just like, we did it because we loved it. But it was also kind of that dream that none of us wanted a 9 to 5. Like, none of us. And it was just like, what can we do?
And what a gift to have that early,
That
bro.
young?
Like,
That early, bro. Cats are thinking that in college and they're ahead. You know
People
what
are
I'm
thinking that
saying?
in their 30s.
I feel you.
Like, what?
none of us wanted a 9 to 5. And we were always, not that we thought the music stuff was going to be our lottery ticket. I mean, obviously, when we're 15, we were like, by 18, we're going to be rich. By 21, we're going to be rich. So we were always chasing, like, you know, because at that time, when you see Puffy and Mace in the desert coming through with the
For
Rolls
real.
Royce, or you
For
see
real.
Biggie driving in reverse, or you see Tupac, like, we were watching like gods, almost like superstars.
For real.
So we were like, how can we, you know, get on that level? So it was like, we got to build our own company. We have to make our own clothes. We have to, you know, so
That's incredible.
that was
though.
always a driving force. We loved hip hop and we loved the culture and we loved everything that we were doing. But at the same time, we were like driven by wanting more, you know, so.
What'd your mom think about all this?
My mom is so old school and so Jamaican. She was half like, stay out of trouble, but half like, yo, go get a real job. You know what I mean? Like, to this day, my mom, like, it was just like a couple years ago, my mom kind of let off me and was just like, all right, I see what you're doing. I get it. But for the longest, she's like, go get a real job, join a union, go do, you know what I mean? Like,
buy the books.
yeah, she has no idea what the music business is. She has no idea. Even being at CBS, she still has no clue.
Wow.
Like, she didn't believe in it, you know? Like, even with my brother having multiple jobs, she just still didn't. So,
And the relationship between you and your older brother is pretty good.
pretty good, very good. Yeah.
All growing up.
Very, for sure.
So
he beat me up a couple times, but I mean, you know, every older brother is gonna do that.
Absolutely.
But our relationship was it was very dope. I mean, he liked a different style of music than I like. You know, he liked Public Enemy, Eric B. and Rakim. He liked, you know, Run DMC. He grew up in that era.
Yeah, just one
So it was
generation
like-
before, yeah.
So by the time I was growing up and Master P and Tupac and all those people were bubbling, he was looking at it like, what the fuck is this? You know what I mean? Because he grew up in what they considered to be real hip hop.
Yeah.
But I grew up in what, you know, is considered to be when hip hop started turning into successful rap. You know what I mean? So it was, you know, obviously there's that like, oh, you're younger than me, you don't know shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was that big. He was kind of a father figure, but at the same time, like he kept it on some brother. Like, so we had a good relationship for sure.
Incredible.
And me and my mom's relationship is like amazing.
Unbelievable.
Like, the closest person to me for sure.
That's real.
It must feel good also to like have independence at such a young age financially.
For sure.
You know, going back to kind of being the man of the house, but I think like just from hearing what you've gone through so far, was that a part of this too? Creating like, I'm going to be my own man. I'm not going to depend on anyone. I need to not only take care of myself, but everybody around me. I'm going to be the guy, not just my family, my friends. Like, was that personality kind of blooming?
For sure. Definitely. Like, you know, it got to the point where it's like, I'm tired of asking my mom to use her car. I'm tired of asking my mom for money. I'm tired of asking my mom, can I go? You know what I mean? So it was like, I always was pushing to like build my own. And she at the same time was kind of pushing that too. Like, there's going to come a time where I can't help you. You know what I mean? So you have to do for self. You know what I mean? So it was just like, even if like, you know, when we were doing the label stuff and I had my own money and could buy my own, you know, clothes and shoes, like, it was, I know it kind of helped my mom. Like, okay, he's not asking me for everything. Like, he's asking me sometimes, but he's not asking me for everything. Cause you know, when you're that young, I mean, we were blowing money on like stupid stuff. For sure. You know what I mean? Cell phones, 2-ways, clothes. Like, so there's a time where it's like, damn, like school's coming again. I blew the money. I got to ask my mom again. Like, yo, mom, can you buy me those Bruce Smiths? You go in Foot Locker. She's like, $200. Like, I'm not buying $200 shoes. You know what I mean? So it was like, I definitely pushed to like have my own, and I'm still pushing to like, you know, I don't want to ask anybody for anything. You know what I mean? So
how do you feel you developed as a young man going through that process, especially with that being at kind of the precipice of you going into like a real world transition? Right? Like right on the brink. How was that for you developmentally? Not only just like in terms of like, I guess, self-confidence, but also in terms of your perception about possibilities moving forward.
I mean, I think all of that really happened when I left LA to go to college. Like when I went to San Francisco State and I wasn't going to go. Okay. But it was like, my mom was like, cool, you don't have to go to college, but you can't live here. So at that point I was like, well, I'm not ready to like be a grown man yet. I'm not ready to move out and stay in LA, but move out of this house. So I was like, I'd rather still have ties to the house, but I'll go to college. So like when I went to college, that was like the wake up call. Okay. Like, you can't ask your mom for everything. Like, you're not in LA anymore. So like I made that jump to like, I don't know, just being a full man. I always tell everybody like LA raised me, but the Bay made me. You know what I mean? Like the Bay really, like, I grew up in the Bay. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. That's when I became a man. For sure. Like first weekend in San Francisco, getting on BART to like go visit some girl in Richmond or something. Daly City BART station, my first weekend in the Bay. Getting on the BART, I turn around, this guy gets stabbed like 10 times. Stop playing. I'm just standing there like, all right, it's time to grow up. I get off the BART, El Cerrito del Norte in Richmond. There's like 6 guys there. I'm like, I look like I'm from LA. I got khakis. I got a button-up shirt. I got a pick in my afro. I got Chucks on. Yeah. I get off the train. They're in Timberland boots, black jeans, pea coats. They start chasing me. Stop. This is the same BART trip. I'm running down the stairs, got to run in the Target. I'm hiding in the Target in the men's section.
So you just step off the train. They just see you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, he's not from here.
And you just bolt.
Wow.
So I gave one more look, and then all of them are just coming. There's like 6 of them, and I can fight 1 or 2, but I'm not fighting. I don't have anything to prove. I'm not fighting 6 guys
For sure.
So I hid in like the men's doctor section, just like in the circle thing that the clothes.
Yeah.
So I'm hiding in there for like 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
And it was just like, yo, like this is in LA. You're not in high school.
Wow.
You got to be a grown man.
Yeah.
And they left, and it was all good. But like school and college really, that really let me know like it's time to grow up.
Did you know people in the Bay?
At that time, I didn't. The good thing that saved me was a lot of people from LA were going to Cal. A lot of people went to Sonoma State. A lot of people went to Hayward. Some went to USF, San Francisco State. So like, people are, you going to the Bay? Cool. Like, we'll try to like meet up. But like when I was going there, I didn't really like know anybody else.
What made you leave the promotion hustle? What was that like transition?
The thing that killed that was going to college. Like when I left to college, everything I earned and knew and everything I did in the record label was done.
Was that something that you had to weigh in making that move, or what was that for you at that time?
At the time, I thought I was just going to be able to go and come back and still do what I was doing. But like within like a couple months, like, phone calls stop, and just like my boys like kept doing it, but it just like slowly but surely like just evaporated. It's that thing that, is the key, like relationships. If
Absolutely.
you're not there, it's out of sight, out of mind.
Absolutely.
So like all the music industry stuff was just out the door.
And you need leadership in those positions.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's teams, but like teams are rallied around charismatic leaders and operational leaders and the ones that are like putting it all together.
Yeah. And it was just like, all right, music industry stuff is done. Okay, so sports is done, music is done. I'm here for film. So then I just switched again. Like now I got to go full throttle on film. So the Bay, like once again, it's just like made me a man and showed me what my career was going to be. And school kind of like guided me to that. So it kind of just brought a passion just like to the forefront. So
when you say like it made you, when people go to college, that first year is so important, right?
Yeah.
Like I always attribute it to the first time going to the grocery store and getting groceries, and the first time you're buying like, all right, I need something. You get like Nutri-Grain bars,
right?
Get like some junk food cereal, and like a couple apples, and you realize like this, I can't make a meal out of any of this,
right?
You no clue what you're doing, but just those like little things that from being chased and being by yourself and probably acclimating to the city, to the new weather, to like new people. Northern California might as well be its own state for real.
For sure.
Like it's nothing like Southern California.
Nothing
at all. And it's even far more spread out.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I kind of want to like go into it a little, like that first year, that first kind of new person that was being made in the Bay, that process of just with yourself, who you become.
Right. Before I went to San Francisco State, before I went there, I was like, all right, film is kind of what I want to do. So like I applied to SC Film School, didn't get in there. I think I got into Pitt, which has a good film school. I think I got into Northwestern, didn't get into NYU. So it was just like, where can I go that's far enough from here, but not too far? So once I read up more, they were like, yo, San Francisco State has the same curriculum as Cal, as Berkeley. Like, you can go there. So my first year in college, I flunked out basically.
Really?
Like, I was on academic probation my first year. Like they sent me the letter and like had me come in and talk to them, and they were like, listen, you have like 4 Fs, a D and a C and something else. I thought that I could just get up at 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and go to class like how we did in high school.
Yeah.
But the Bay just slapped me in the face. You know what I mean? In terms of party.
Elaborate.
In terms of the weather, 1.
Okay.
Parties, 2.
Okay.
The weed.
Yeah.
Drinking.
Got it.
Just all of that. I thought I would be able to like
balance the shit,
but I wasn't.
And no mom.
And no mom there to help. Nobody to lean on. You know, everybody's trying to like figure it out.
Nobody to tell you to be up by 7.
Nobody to tell me that.
Or get your shit together. It's going south.
Exactly.
Join a union.
Because the Bay, that's hilarious. The pace is a little slower than here.
Yeah.
So I was still, I mean, in high school, I won class clown. So it was like, I had a bunch of friends. I was popular. So in the Bay, I'm like trying to like still hang on to what I had in LA. Mm-hmm. And I used that to kind of gas everybody else and like use that. But what happened was I just leaned on it too much and I lived it out too much.
You wore yourself thin.
And I just wasn't doing my work.
Got you.
So then they were like, yo, if you don't get your grades right, you're out of here. So it was like second semester, got my grades right, you know, and just really stuck to it. So,
was that a necessary wake-up call for you at that time?
Definitely, because when I told my mom I was on academic probation and kicking me out, she lost her shit.
She was
just like, yo, you better get it right. So I think I kind of forgot the initial question you asked, but knowing what my passion was going up there a little bit, but then getting there and really only focused on one option, like helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Like I didn't go up there and I was like, oh, maybe I want to be a poli-sci major or biology or English or what. I knew this school is good for this. Let me just go up there and do this.
Got you.
So,
I mean, it also tests yourself too, like test your true character.
Right.
We realized growing up, especially like I grew up in LA my whole life, then went to college. That's a very rare experience for a lot of people to stay in one place. Like,
definitely.
Noosh moved around. So many people move around.
Right.
But you realize when you have that experience, how comfortable everything is. And the second you go out, everything changes. Like you're challenged immediately. Yeah. Your identity, like you can't lean on those things that like everything's just like, who am I? Where am I? What am I?
Yeah.
It seems like you didn't discover that till second semester.
For sure. And then the funny thing was second semester, I don't know where I got that knack from, but producing was like something that I wanted to try.
Producing music?
Yeah, producing music. So I met like another rapper that was like from Oakland and he was like going to the studio. So then I went with him to the studio. And I was just like, I started asking them like, yo, do you guys have internships? And they were like, you know what? We do. And they were like, we can't pay you, but you can use anything in this studio that you want. It's $1 million studio.
Dope.
So I gravitated towards mixing just because they had a huge SSL board there. They had the 2-inch reel, the tapes, and I learned all that shit just by doing it every weekend.
Yeah.
So then second semester, I started like buying pieces of equipment, you know, like I bought an MPC, I bought an ASR, I bought another piece, I brought a MIDI controller. I started like piecing together, like, cause I was, you know, photography and film was my shit. That's my passion, but I was still trying to find like, is it really what I want to do?
Like your calling.
Yeah. Like, is this really what music's kind of, cause I still like went back to that music thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And then once I graduated from school and I came back, I wasn't living where my music equipment was. So like if you're trying to make music and produce and mix, and if you don't wake up and start doing that shit right away, or if you don't wake up in the middle of the night and make a beat, or if you don't do that shit every day, you will lose.
And you're not doing it right.
You're not doing it right, and you will lose any skill set you have. So slowly but surely that passion went away too. And I was left with the first passion, which was film and photography. So for a while, even in college, I was still trying to like, you know, figure it out. I mean, I majored in radio and television, but it was only because I got caught cheating like one semester before I was going to get my film degree. Oh. Yeah, like it was that back to just like not doing all your schoolwork. So like we had
What was that like for you?
It was kind of scary too.
Wait, how'd you get caught cheating?
It was like a film theory class, and basically there's like maybe 50 to 100 people in the class. You take the test, you leave the class, they come back, they pass all the tests out. So we grade each other's test right there. The teacher's not grading it.
Oh, wow.
So I would leave with my test and then come back thinking like, all right, I'm gonna grade my own shit. Like, just because once again, I didn't study all the book shit that I was supposed to study. Like, I was doing I'm great with operating cameras, lights, rigging, all that shit. Like being hands-on in film is like my shit.
Yeah.
But like this class was like a book smart class. Like the numerical stuff involved with film. So it was just like, I'm gonna grade my own shit. But I didn't know that the teacher, when he took the test, this is the first time he ever did it too. When he took the test, he made little notches on each paper. I don't know if it was a red marker or a pencil or whatever. But when I turned in mine didn't have the notch on it. So he emails me like 2 days later and he's like, listen, I know what you did. You could either get kicked out of school for cheating or you can change your major.
Wow.
And I was just like, not telling my mom this shit.
Yo, for real.
So at that point, I was just like, this is some real shit. Like, I'm not trying to get kicked out of school. I just spent, first of all, I flunked my whole first year. So this is my 5th year.
What was going through your head?
Well, I almost shit myself when, like, in that meeting. Like, I was just like when he told me that, I was just like,
the blood drains from your face.
Yo, for real. Heart sank, left out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like, I was like pretty scared. And it's funny, like I got away. I thought I was getting away with it because all high school, like, I mean, we didn't tap on this, but aside from the music shit, there was like a whole like street element of shit that we were doing also that we got away with. So like being in the Bay and being from LA, like just kind of gassed me like, you can get away with it again. But like I didn't. And he was just like, listen, I will report you. You have to change your major or you get kicked out. Wow. So at that point I was just like, all right, well, what's the closest thing? And I was just like television and radio. A lot of my film classes had already counted for that major.
Got you.
Oh, nice.
So it was just like one more year, you know, my 5th year, I'd be able to do all my film, my TV and radio classes and get my Becca major. So I got lucky.
Wow.
Like I could probably still go back to state and take whatever classes I need and get my film degree, but I can't. Like, you know, I'm not going to. So it was like, I don't know. I got lucky with that for sure. So I'm a radio and television. I have a BA in radio and television when I really should have it in film. Yeah. So
that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up. But it's all good.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, you survived college, though.
I survived college.
You survived the Bay and you survived college, bro.
I don't know how I did it. Like,
wow.
Honestly, I don't know how I did it. Like, and it was to the point where people were like, damn, Danny, you graduated? Because, like, you know, like, seriously. Man, because I would, like, I don't know. I was just like, I wasn't the kid that was, like, walking around with books in a backpack. I just wanted to, like, be on the quad and be in the center of college and just, like, look like I was just chilling.
Yeah.
But I had already put my stuff in the class before class started. I'd go drop my shit off and then come kick it.
Gotcha.
So when everybody's looking at me, they're like, yo, he doesn't ever have any books. Like, does he do his work? Like, what's the deal? Yeah. So like all those kids didn't graduate because they were trying to, like, I guess, kick it too. But I was like really going to class and like really doing my shit.
For sure.
Because that first year just had me like
shook.
Yeah. Super shook. Like,
what during the time period that you were the film major?
Yeah.
Was the curriculum helping you? Were you like embarking on your own scenarios to kind of like navigate in your own trenches, or was it just like we in film school?
That's an amazing question. Like, the funny thing is we kind of felt like that. Like, we did more hands-on stuff in high school than we did as a film major. Like, in high school, we were making music videos, TV shows, talk shows. We made our own commercials. We made like Snap Into a Slim Jim commercial. Like, we were making our own like shit, like legit stuff. So then when I went to school, that curriculum up there was very like geared towards film history, film theory, and like book smart stuff. And they didn't
technicalities and the minutiae.
Yeah, and they didn't really give us the hands-on stuff that we needed. But the TV side, like let us like really touch everything.
Really?
Like, editing software, cameras, mixing boards, control rooms, all that shit. The TV shit gave us that. So, but the film shit didn't.
Was that lightweight a blessing for you?
It was.
Wow.
It was. Like, to be honest, it was, because film stuff, I can honestly say I only remember like 3 films I saw in college, but I don't remember anything else they taught me.
Wow.
Like, I saw Citizen Kane in college. I saw Sunset Boulevard and probably Vertigo. Like, those 3 movies I remember seeing in film school.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know any teachers' names. I don't know any books. I don't know anything they taught us.
Wild.
TV side, I remember all that shit. But I didn't really learn until school was over. I didn't really learn until I was doing it my own and fucking up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, being in the trenches and doing our own shit.
For sure.
Is when I really learned the most. And then I was able to latch on to other powerful, successful directors. And I learned like being under them and like being on set. But like school, I'm not shitting on school. Like, I definitely think, you know, based on the school, kids should go.
Yeah.
But I feel like the best teacher is just doing it yourself.
I mean, and I feel like, you know, this is a lesson to the youth also. Like, whatever system you're in is a system that you're in. It's literally like the padding or just the framework.
Right.
Like, there's nothing stopping us from utilizing college as our testing ground.
For sure.
Just because you're in a curriculum doesn't mean you need to just stay locked in and do what the schoolwork is. True. Like, I think, you know, even looking back in college for me, right? Like, we had our own hustles, like doing different clothing lines, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But like, we were learning based on just the actual doing.
Right.
And one of the things that I feel like, you know, especially in my world, in our world, like, we couldn't wait to get out of school.
Man.
But at the same time, looking back now, it's crazy when you get older and you look back. The freedom to fall and fail,
for sure,
and still be able to just get back up and go to class again,
for sure,
is far different than the real world when you got responsibilities, you got bills. Let's pray to God that you don't have a my bed out of nowhere. Just a one-off baby that you didn't like plan on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. A one-off baby.
But like, there's freedom in that. And the freedom to fail and the freedom to fall forward and the freedom to just find yourself.
Right.
You could use that anywhere. High school, junior high, elementary. Nothing's stopping that until that's in our framework.
Definitely.
Transitioning from graduating through college, right? Graduating from college, I'm going to say. What was that transition for you like? And what was it that really started getting you active in just like gung-ho pursuing the film element? And what was your mentality coming out of school? Like, was it hunger? Was it like, I'm going to get this regardless? Was it, I'm going to need to find what I really want to do? How am I going to do this? What was that feeling for you at that moment?
Dude, the funny thing is, like, it's funny that it always goes back to my mom. But like, from the day I like got back, she was just like, you got to get a job. like my mom is relentless.
I feel you.
She's the type of, like, she bought me Sega Genesis whenever it came out. It was like $250. Before we got out the store, she was like, yo, you have to pay me back. So it was like,
I'm keeping this receipt.
Yeah. So it was like the day I got back to LA, she was like, you have to get a job.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I never had a 9 to 5. Like, well, I'm not getting a job. So it was like, I just started like grinding. Like, the music stuff was done. It was just like, okay, what can I do to stay within the realm of what I want to do?
Why move back to LA?
Man, you know, the Bay was like, after 5 years, I was just like, yo, I gotta go. Like,
thank you.
Yeah. Like, the Bay is an amazing place. I always tell people I would raise a family either in LA or the Bay.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Bay, but I left like right before all the rent like stuff started happening. And it was just like, my roommates were like going to the supermarket. And they were like, yeah, we're going to the supermarket, and then we're going to the Presidio, then Golden Gate Park, and then we're going to get ice cream. This is the day after graduation. I was like, word. I was just like, yo, I'm done. Like, I packed up all of my shit when they went, and I drove home.
Stop.
Wow.
Before they got back from the market.
What made you do that?
I was done.
You're like, yo, I gotta get the fuck
I gotta
out of
leave. I was just like, all right, I graduated. What else do I have to do here?
Wow.
Like, I'm done. So then when they got back, they were like, Danny, where are you? And I'm like, I'm at home. They're like, no, we're at home. I'm like, no, I'm home. Like, I'm home.
I'm home.
Yeah, like, I'm in LA. They were like, what? And then like the girl had already gave me like the deposit back and everything. So I was just like, yo, I'm done with this place. Wow. So being back in LA, it was just like, all right, now it's game time. Like, how can I make some money? And the first thing that I knew was I could be a PA. Like, I could be a PA on video sets, documentary sets, film, whatever.
Sure.
So, you know, there were some jobs that was $100 a day. Some are like $200 a day, like max. So it was just like, I'm going to do that until I can fully take the leap of doing what I wanted to do. You know what I mean?
So you went into that knowing you wanted to just soak game.
For sure.
It wasn't just let me get a job, let me kind of just figure this out. It was like, I'm going there. This is going to be my job, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid here.
For sure.
But I'm going to go really navigate.
Definitely. So like being a PA definitely was like an alley-oop to myself to like just see like, okay, you're dope with the camera, but maybe there's some other departments that, you know, you'll see, like maybe there's sound or there's like lighting or, you know, you'll figure out one of those. So even while I was being a PA, I would still do like odd jobs just to survive, you know, like working at a summer camp or like just random shit. You know what I mean? So it was like, before I could like fully take that leap of only being a director and a photographer, I had to build like some years.
Sure.
So then from being a PA, I graduated to working under successful directors. And then once I did that for like 5 years, like my big bro, like Paul Hunter, he's like a huge director. He did Aaliyah 1 in a Million. He did Biggie Hypnotize, Tupac Scarface Smile, Moulin Rouge with all those girls in it. He did everything. Like he's done everything, all about the Benjamins. So like working for him those 5 years, I did everything. Casting, coloring, being on set, getting coffees. Like,
how long from when you started PAing till you built that relationship with Paul was it?
It was first like I had to be a PA on set. And then I was a PA at a production company in the office. But I would also like ask the different crews in the production bays, like, yo, what jobs do you guys have coming up? Yeah. Cause I was only getting 3 days a week. Cause like the office manager was kind of like, he was a hater. He wasn't a hater because he wasn't in our same realm. There was nothing for him to hate on. Yeah. But just naturally as a person, he was a hater. So like he saw that everybody in that office fucked with me. He saw that I could go do runs and come back fast. He saw that I was good at being a PA, and he just didn't like that everybody fucked with me. So he only gave me 2 or 3 days a week. So at that point I was just like, this isn't enough. This is $300. Yeah. So like, I got to ask these people in these production bays, like, yo, you guys, can I PA on set? So I do the office and PA on set. But then on set, you know, the director, I mean, there's not that many black PAs at this point. There are, but there's not that many young kids that are black and like doing dope shit. For sure. So like the directors are gravitating towards me, and the directors are like, yo, like, I want that kid to roll with me. I want that kid to pick me up. I want him to like be on every job. So I latched on with this guy, Little X, who learned from Hype Williams. Yep. So like I ran with Little X for like a year, you know.
How was that?
That was crazy. Like I heard about Rihanna like 6 months before anybody heard about it. Like he would get the music. His thought process kind of bled into my thought process in terms of creating ideas for videos. Cause he'd get like maybe 7 songs from the production company. Like the labels want you to do these 7 possibly. We're going to put them on a mix CD. You put this in the car. So he'd put the 7 songs in the car and he'd drive around all day listening to the same 7 songs. To this day, when I'm developing ideas, I do the same thing. I'll listen to a song the whole day, whether it's on the computer, the phone, the car. That's my same thought process. And I got that from him. So like I ran with Little X, Chris Robinson, Hype Williams, Benny Boom. And then at the Christmas party for HSI Productions, which was like the main company, I was like there with like 2 girls, like one of the only black guys there.
Yeah.
The other black director, Paul, walks in. He's looking at me like, who the fuck is that dude with 2 girls over there? Who is that?
Yeah.
So he comes over, he's talking to me. He's like, yo, you want to work tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. I was like, what do you want me to do? He's like, yeah, I want you to PA on my job. So like 6 a.m, I'm on a GMC commercial, and like they have like a huge stage. It's all black. Like it's kind of like this, like the shiny floor that the car sits on. Yep. But I guess whatever floor they got was like a bad batch. So like I had to peel all the plastic off of every single plank. So I was laying on the ground the whole day.
Peeling.
Paul watched me land, bloody fingers and everything the whole day, and was like, yo, I don't want you to pee on set anymore. I want you to run with me 3 days a week.
Wow.
Then 3 turned into 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week.
Crazy.
I was running with him for 5 years.
Unreal.
So there was like 3 years before I met him. But then once I did, it was another 5 years of working for him, under him.
Within those 3 years, what was it within you? You know, naturally, the ones that actually make a mark,
Right.
tend to develop a way to be indispensable.
Right.
For you, especially in that youth, what was it that you started learning to become that, not only that sponge, but also somebody that could add value where it was necessary? Because sometimes you got to find that line between overstepping and kind of being the little homie also.
For sure.
How was that developing within you? Because naturally it's like, build, and then this Paul opportunity comes on, and you've built this kind of rapport. You've dealt with different directors in that same ilk, and you kind of have more of like your own personal groove, if you will.
I think one of the first things that helped was the whole time we were grinding, just trying to live and make money, we were also trying to build a company. So like the other fellow PAs that I worked with were also aspiring producers, directors, photographers. So I just went back to what I knew from high school was, okay, let's scoop up the dopest creative people that we have access to, and let's create something. So I created it was called CTC. It was called Cut the Check. Like I never told anybody what CTC was, but it was like, CTC is going to be my production company. So like I would scoop up the best, because I didn't want to direct at first. Like I wanted to produce. My mindset was, if you're the producer and you can get 15% of everybody's job, that's going to be way more money than just that one director's check. So I gathered up like 5 or 6 guys, and I was just like, all right, I'm going to use my old music industry contacts to get the artist videos that we need. So I, like you said, like being indispensable, but I just figured out where I could fit in. You know what I mean? Like, like we're missing like our own production company. We're working for all these people at a bigger company, but let's have our own shit. So what happened was, trying to get those guys jobs, a lot of them didn't have the same thought process, didn't have the same drive, didn't have the same vision, didn't have the same like ideas. So they would like not write treatments. You know what I mean? Like we would start losing jobs. And I was like, look, if you guys don't want to write them, I'm going to write them. So I started writing treatments, and then people started fucking with my ideas. So they were just like, Danny, you direct it. You do it. So then that's how I started directing.
Wow. From
other people not wanting to do their job.
Unreal.
So I never wanted to. Like I knew I could, just from my lensing and photography and my love for photography. I knew I could.
Yeah.
But just,
It's so interesting, the polar like opposite of who you are in college and in school and who you are in career.
For sure.
And job. Like 2 completely different people.
Definitely.
One is like the dude's just trying to get by, a little insecure, unsure of himself.
For sure.
Fearful.
Yep.
And the other is just like confident leader.
For sure.
Just
and shout out to Mama though too. She gave him the welcome back, get a job though.
Yeah, for sure. She still to this day is like, she calls me every day with some shit.
Do you think she was like a like looking back on kind of that and being back in LA with even on maybe a subconscious level, do you think your mom was that kind of foundation for you to be that person?
You know what? I think she was, because she was very open. Like, she never like hid anything. Like, she preached like open communication. Tell me everything.
That's incredible.
Don't hold anything back. Let me know how you feeling. Like, when you're mad, tell me you're mad. If there's a problem, speak on it right there. So like, she kind of cultivated like.
That's incredible.
She definitely had her hands on like who I became, just in terms of, you know, being in tune with all emotions. You know what I mean?
That's very
like,
rare.
To this day,
and especially for somebody that was going through emotional roller coasters, to be able to have that rock, but also have that person that's saying be open and just give it to me as is. Yeah, that's a release in and of itself.
For sure. Definitely, she preached just be open, and I think that allowed me to forget about sports and realize I have promotion. Oh, promotion's done. It's okay to let it go. Like, you're like, she was cool. Like, you're still gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? So I think she definitely like allowed me to be who I ended up to be.
There's also like an accountability too of being back home. Yeah. And you know, in college you can hide shit. You can
for sure.
Like, I don't know if she knows that you cheated, but
Danny was over there hiding it until he couldn't.
No, I had to hide like a lot of shit. Like, I had to hide like a pregnancy that almost happened. Like, just a lot of shit that I still like slowly but surely tell my mom. Like, 'cause there's just like just a whole nother side of me that my mom doesn't know. Just off of, I didn't want to give her the stress.
For sure.
You know what I mean? There was some shit like where we got locked up here and there, and she was the only person that could come get me. So she knew like the other shit we were doing, but it was just like, I don't know. There's still stuff that I only tell her.
Absolutely.
Because I'm still kind of fearful of just that mom, just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like,
for sure.
And I think all of us kind of have that with parents, where we all try to like please our parents.
Absolutely.
But
hold back until we can't any longer.
For sure. Like, I'm still scared of my mom. So.
I feel you. Likewise.
But being back home, like, that accountability to, you can't really hide anything as well, right, as you can with your mom here. It's kind of like no bullshit. Get to work and be your best self in that, and discover that person. It's just the juxtaposition of people. To me is so fascinating.
For sure.
Of yourself, like these two selves of, like, you know, here this crazy leader, ambitious kid,
hooligan at times,
hooligan, but also humble too, like being willing to work those 7 days, and knowing that, like, I don't need to be at the top right away. Like, let me soak up game
for sure
and learn from the best and be around the best.
Trait to have,
definitely, and get on the floor until my hands bleed.
Definitely,
like. Those are interesting characteristics about yourself, coming right after like cheating on a test and failing out at first. Like, it's interesting qualities. Did you ever have like those moments with yourself of reflecting on that at the time of like, man, I got to get my shit together. This is not who I am, or in that self-discovery phase?
I did. And I think one of the things that always like stuck with me is, I forgot who told me, but they were like, paying dues never stops. Like, to this day, I still believe that. And my whole journey, I was just like, no matter what's happening, I know that I'm paying my dues. Like, I can remember jumping in a trash bin to find Hype Williams' cell phone. Wow. Like, being a PA on that job, and he's looking for his cell phone. He's like, yo, whoever finds my cell phone is like, I don't know what you're going to get, but you're going to get something. So like, they were like, yo, Danny, get in that trash can and like, get the phone. So I'm like in the dumpster, like looking through it. I found the fucking phone. Like, I didn't get shit, but it was just like.
And you didn't even have a second thought. It was just like,
trash?
Yep, I'm in there.
For sure. Like, I'm a PA.
It's get it done at that point.
Get it
by
done.
any means necessary.
And I think a lot of kids today like lean on the fact of technology and social media, and a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people look for the shortcut or the easy way out. When I was coming up, there was no shortcuts.
When we were like, when we were coming up, we also didn't have everything plastered of what best life looks like.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
For
We're
sure.
not desensitized into how great everything can be.
Sure.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like the idea and the possibility of greatness was still vague.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Definitely.
nowadays, you just go on Instagram, search your hero, and you're seeing all that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Back then, you'd see the video, you'd see this, but you didn't see the day to day.
For sure.
You didn't see the little trinkets that were like, oh shit, well that's what I want. All this,
That's a great point.
and it's crazy because I feel like, especially like the youth in our eras now, are a little more desensitized,
Right.
to the grind, and also desensitized to what the journey actually is, because we falsely, like, it's like a mirage. We falsely think we're seeing it. But the narrative is not how it's playing out. You know what I'm saying? The narrative is the little bits and pieces we want to be seen. Nobody's going over there saying, like, I thought about killing myself yesterday.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Or I'm heartbroken that my girl left me. You know what I'm saying? Cats are just out here putting their best lives out.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And especially in that era when it was still vague, that whole, like, no task is too big or too small is vibrant in that hustle in the trenches.
Sure.
You just got to do what you got to do to get to where you want to get.
That was my whole thing. Get it done and just keep grinding towards the end goal.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I just always was like, yo, I'm not going to be a PA forever, but I'll do it as long as I have to. You know what I mean? So at the same time of being a PA, we started shooting our own stuff.
Awesome.
You know, like, I think our first music video, the budget was like $600. You know what I mean? Like, I bought bagels and bananas, you know, and took like a little speaker and like we got it done. But then like every job we said to ourselves, from here, we'll just get bigger and bigger. You know, little by little, like we don't have to like do an amazing video. Just don't fuck up, but just get better and do something different every time was the goal. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
So it went from 600 to 700 to 1,000 to, you know, just keep going higher and higher. It's like everything I do is like the business card for the next job.
For sure.
Nobody remembers what I did 3 years ago, 5 years ago. Like it's on my Instagram, but nobody scrolls. Like,
and to have that mentality and know that literally like sets the mark for how you approach the shit.
For sure. Like I always approach every video like it's my last, and even if the budget doesn't allow me to best my last video, I'm gonna do something where I challenge myself or do something that challenges the artist.
That's incredible.
But also just do something different that I've never done before. Like to this day, I don't feel like I have a video where I repeated an idea or repeated like a theme. You know, every single piece of my, you know, works are different, you know, so I mean, that's always the goal, just to, you know, do something different and just get better every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
How were you liking the process of all this? And when did you really like know you were all in on this path?
Damn, that's a good one. I don't remember what year it was, but it was just a year where I didn't have to PA one time and I didn't have to like work an odd job or work at the summer camp or, you know, whatever I was doing, or I didn't have to like hustle or like whatever. I was just like, yo, I made enough money this year as a director where I'm gonna, you know, push forward with it. So I don't remember when that was, but it was like a couple years after leaving Paul Hunter. He kind of gave me like the push. It was like December 17th. I don't know what year it was, but he was just like, he put me in his office and he was just like, yo, Danny, you've done everything in this position that you can. You have to do your own shit.
Can you take us through that experience of the 5 years with Paul?
Man, that was some crazy times. Like I saw like the best of the best, like from traveling to Miami for a T.I. video, from being in a trailer on a NASCAR commercial, but writing the treatment for Justin Timberlake, My Love, with the other assistant, to flying a private jet to Tracy McGrady's house for an Adidas commercial, to coming up with some of the ideas for Gwen Stefani, Holla Back Girl, to him wanting to leave the color session early, but me just having to sit there and watch and make sure everything's all good, or you know, seeing Chrissy Teigen, you know, audition for Justin Timberlake, My Love, just like, it was just a plethora of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, going to Mariah Carey's house and, you know, seeing her come down in a wife beater and boy shorts, you know, asking me if I want wine. You know what I mean? Like, anything and everything.
Yeah.
Those 5 years was like, you know, it was crazy.
And on the highest level.
On the highest level.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. And I learned more under him than I ever did anywhere. And I still tell him to this day, like, I remember what you did like 8 years ago. I just did it last week. Like, you know, whether it was like a casting choice or like a color choice or just like certain things, I think I'm great at pulling references from different people and making it my own. Even with like eating better and like trying to get my lifestyle better, just in terms of like losing weight or whatever, like, everybody had their way of how to do it. Danny, do this, do this, do this. And so out of the 50 things that, you know, I read on Facebook from my friends telling me what to do, I pulled what I wanted to do, what I knew would work for me.
Yeah.
So I did the same thing in film. You know, Paul might have did this or X did this or they did, but I'm going to do what works for me, you know? So after those 5 years, he was just like, you've done everything. Like he pushed me to, most people have to take that leap on their own. I wasn't ready because I was making good money. They were paying my cell phone bill. They were giving me mileage for everywhere I drove, had a credit card to buy whatever. Like, I wasn't ready to take the leap.
You were comfortable.
I was comfy, super comfy. But he was just like, yo, like, you've done enough. You have to do your own shit.
What was that like for you?
I was scared shitless. Like, in his office, I was like, I almost cried in the office because it was just kind of like, yo, big bro's telling me like enough.
Wow.
So I never told him that, but I know he probably saw it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure. He knew what the fuck was going on.
Danny's about to cry over there.
You're like, am I getting fired?
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. Like, am I getting fired? And it wasn't like that.
No, yeah.
Because at the same time, he was just like, yo, you know, you can use anything you need to use. Yeah. You can call me whenever. And then literally, I think he kind of knew because when he pushed me to take my leap, he also left the bigger company he was at, and he started his own company.
Oh, wow.
With another executive producer over there. So it was like both of us doing some shit. And then once he got established, he was like, Danny, you can come over here anytime you want and use this office, use these edit, do whatever. You know what I mean? But it was like the first month of that new year, because we had that talk on like December 15th, but that first month, like, I had no videos. Like, nobody was like giving me shit. But then you just had to like keep pushing. Like, what do you have? Oh, you got $800? Cool. We could do a video. Oh, you got $1,200? Cool. We'll do it. Oh, we'll do 3 videos for $2,000. Like, whatever it took, we needed the video. We didn't care about the money. I need the video because I need to send that video to the labels to show that we have videos. So,
I mean, it's crazy. And you hear about this, with a lot of people that are at that crossroads of who work under or work with very, very successful people.
Right.
And set out on your own.
Yeah.
And ultimately you come to that point where, am I good because I'm with this person and I'm tied to their identity and their skills?
For sure.
Or am I actually dope? And do people think of me like that? Like, when I take that step out as just Danny and not Danny and Paul, am I going to be that on that top level or sink to the bottom? Am I actually good, or am I just my own hype because of this person?
It took a while for people to not look at me as Danny, Paul's assistant, but Danny, a director. Like, it took a while for people to like see that, but also believe. Like, people didn't really believe until I started showing the work, you know, and even Paul I don't know if he believed that first, but I remember there was a Janae Aiko video that I did, and he like watched it like twice, and he stepped back and was like, yo, like, this is fucking good. And at that point I was like, oh yeah, if Paul fucks with it, then, you know.
How is that for your psyche, and what did you need to find within yourself to give yourself not only the motivation, but just like the courage to become
Man.
you.
That's crazy.
And find out what even the fuck that was, because it's scary.
It is.
Right? But what was it within you, and how did you even begin to take that step?
That's crazy. I think the underlying issue of that is doing something that makes you happy. Like a lot of people work 9 to 5s. They could be fucking balling or not, but they work there and they get the money. But are they happy? And even when I didn't have money, I was still doing what I loved. So I feel like me being happy and doing what I love kind of made me who I am, because I don't create from a spot of monetary, value or pub or buzz or whatever. Like sometimes the money isn't there, and then I will pull a favor or do favors. So I will do stuff not for the free. Like I have too many bills to work for free, but doing what I love just allows me to be who I am.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like I don't have to work under pressure or create from an unrealistic spot. You know what I mean? A lot of people go to work and, they don't like their jobs.
For sure.
They have to act a certain way because of their job. But I'm free to be who I am.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
I mean, personal happiness is a monster in and of its own.
And I had to tell my mom that for the longest. She'd see me struggling, or she'd see me making moves and then go 3 steps back, but then go forward and come back. But I always told her look, Mom, I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm not going to CVS or wherever you want me to go.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
What was the turning point for you? Right? Where you're creating, you're having opportunities, you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
There are moments where you're 10 steps forward, 3 steps back. Was there a time or a project where it was the culmination of everything clicking? And it was one of those even early on feelings of I could take on whatever the fuck y'all throw at me?
Man. That's crazy. It was probably a Janae video. And at the time, from seeing Paul and everybody use the biggest cameras, and, having $1 million budgets and all the production crew, and then seeing people, with Reds and all these other things that I still wasn't even really using yet.
Yeah.
But creating something for Janae, for a song called 3:16 a.m. And using a Canon 5D, and at the time everybody was using those, but me using that and then seeing that it went on MTV just from that small camera, and then it got nominated for a whole bunch of other shit. That kind of clicked to me all right, you're not the biggest or the best, somebody's always gonna have a bigger camera than you. Yeah. But what you did with what you have, that was I really pressed the gas at that point. Once that video was done, I sent it to get colored, and I forgot who it was, but it was some famous DP, and he was coloring his movie there or his video there with the same colorist that I had. I had Paul call a favor, the same guy that colored Pirates of the Caribbean. He had his assistant color my shit. Dope. So it was some DP in there, and he was just yeah, let me watch that. And I guess I wasn't there, but they were watching the Janae video, and they were trying to pick out this is overexposed, this is they were picking at it. Yeah. But the fact that they were talking about it and they liked it, but they still saw engaged. You know what I mean? That really was a turning point. Okay, you have something, people will gravitate towards you and want to work with you. Now you got to go all the way. So then I really just pressed the gas even more, really reached out to every label I knew, was just showing the video around, but, I don't know, I guess just achieving some form of success
for sure
was really it let me know okay, it's real.
Yeah. Super validating
for sure.
But also leaning on what you said too, in all those years you spent with Paul, and I asked if you enjoyed it, right? because I mean, for face value, it sounds great. Like working with all these, high profile artists and entertainers.
There were shitty days too, though.
For sure.
Probably.
And you get to see the underbelly of what
for sure
the echelon of excellence is.
Yeah, I mean, those are just very tiny moments in between the actual work.
Right.
And you have to enjoy the other 99% of the grinding work to get the product, the pressure, the quality, the long days, the long nights, the traveling constantly.
Definitely.
You have to actually love that lifestyle
for sure.
And then going out on your own, continue that drive, continue that work ethic, continue to live amongst that, because you already saw that's what great is.
For sure.
So to carry that into that life too.
Yeah.
And I think, when you say, you're happy, and that's such a cornerstone of all this.
For sure.
It really is, even talking about like this validating moment for you.
Right.
It's built on the foundation of you already enjoying so much of this world and this culture. And, I just wanted to point that out because it's like,
thank you.
Yeah. It's, one of our guests, our last guest, Joe, he was saying you really gotta like love to live in that. You have to. Some people are great at editing, some people are great at coloring, but to be a director, and to find that, do you feel at that moment you became that director?
In a sense, but also when we didn't have much, like I had to be more than just a director. I had to produce a lot of my own stuff. You know what I mean? I had to edit a lot of stuff and, wear different hats.
Yeah.
But I think I was able to do that because, coming up, I had to do so many different things.
Absolutely.
And that even goes back to mom's just
get it done,
but also having an open mindset, showing us different, things, different avenues. Like it's okay to like go get somebody coffee. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like it's okay to like, grind a little bit,
You seem to have always had the ability to not only just like soak in what you were embarking on, but finding surrounding talent.
Right.
And being able to position them.
For sure.
As you started embarking on your own individual journey, how did you go about building your team and building a culture around what you really wanted your company and your mark to really be based on?
Right. I don't even remember how I came up with the name, the Top Shelf Company, but in England, all the porno magazines, the magazine are like on the top shelf, meaning, little kids can't reach up there. It's not attainable. When you go in a bar, the top shelf has all the best liquor.
For sure.
So like that, I don't remember how I made that name, but it was just like that name to me meant that I had to be on my best A game. Like I had to bring something to the table that was, upper echelon, that was better than the average.
Absolutely.
So like that mindset, when creating, it was just like, okay, different people that I would work with, if they didn't fuck up, I'd use them again. I'm big on loyalty. I had an amazing run with this one editor, Brian Robinson. We had like a 7-year run where it was just me and him cutting every single thing. And I went back to him every time because, you build that chemistry with somebody, you know what I mean? Where you can just keep creating new shit and they don't fuck up. So it was like every position that I was needed in production, if you don't fuck up, I'm gonna stay loyal to you and I'm gonna just pluck you and just, so I still do that to this day. Like me and Brian don't work together anymore, but the whole time I was grooming another kid who emailed us out of the blue, a kid from he was in the Bay, but he like lived down here or some shit. And I just tried him out and he passed the test. So I just kept going back to him, So I think just finding like-minded individuals who are willing to grind, because directing and editing and coloring and coming up with film stuff is it's lonely, and there's like some long nights and just dark nights. You know what I mean?
For sure.
For a while, now I try to go to bed around midnight, wake up at 7 or 8, but for a long time, I was only sleeping from like 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. Just because the city stops at a certain point.
Absolutely.
And, like, your mind can just,
Yeah.
I can just press play on a computer and listen to a song without the phone ringing because it's 2, 3, 4 a.m. You know what I mean? But I don't even know how I got to that. But just finding people that, are willing to grind.
Absolutely.
And aren't looking to leapfrog to the top immediately. Like, those are the people I gravitated towards, people that know their role and just, not try to do it overnight. Those are like the real people.
Absolutely.
Because there's a lot of opportunist people in the film game and in the music industry. But like the people that are really trying to build and learn are like the people I stick with.
Absolutely. So. When it comes to the artists that you work with,
oh God,
how do you go about building a relationship and a rapport with them?
Yeah.
And what is it that you look for in artists?
Yeah.
In their creative vision to align yourself with?
That's a good question, man. In terms of artists and music, I always tell people, like, I don't care how much money is on the table.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it if I don't like it. And that mindset actually got me in some like heated conversations and arguments with like a lot of people. There was a record label that, they had a lot of street money. Like, they would pay me a lot of money cash. And it got to the point where I would deliver it, but it got to the point where they felt like, Danny's going to do whatever we tell him to because the money's there. But then there were just a couple songs where it was just like, I'm not feeling it. And they were just like, what you mean you're not feeling it? Like, you have to do this. So it was like picking the song and the artist. If I'm not happy, I'm not doing it. And I think building relationships with artists is like, they have to feel the same way. Like, I don't want to work with artists that are just doing it to put a video out. I want to work with artists that are doing what they want to do because they believe in it. You know what I mean? Like, Janae, I don't even know how many videos I've done with her. It might be 10 or something, but just, we were cool on like a personal level first. Like the first time I went to go meet her, she was still on Section 8. She was working at Natural Foods in Culver City, whatever vegan spot that was.
Yeah.
She was just like, yo, like, come pick me up on my lunch break. We'll talk, like, we'll figure it out. And just, we became friends first and then business associates second.
For sure.
And I try to do that with artists especially. And I, just being myself, I think it helps just with that relationship. Like, a lot of times I'll bypass the label and I'll call the artist himself. Like, yo, I heard that new joint. This is what we're going to do. And then we'll come up with it and then we'll tell the label what they're going to do. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So just being cool with artists on a personal level first is key. But I always gravitate towards artists that are like-minded. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
Are like me. But I definitely have to like the song or for like sure. them in some shape, form, or fashion.
For sure.
So,
yeah, I mean, it's also kind of like your reputation and credibility too.
Right.
That's tied into it. Like having your own thing.
Yeah.
You have to make those decisions to be selective.
For sure.
Not just what makes you happy, but like what you're tying to, who you're working with. And because it's so relationship based.
Definitely.
And people based. I mean, the music business especially is such a people business.
Yeah.
Before anything. And you have to align with it. It's the like-mindedness, but it's like, it has to be one in the same culture.
Right.
Very much so.
Definitely.
Have you thought of like, the person you're kind of becoming now as like a professional? How's that changed from when you were just kind of like working with Paul, learning, to going off on your own, and now like, I have my thing and I'm a professional in this industry?
For sure.
Jumping to that professional like persona almost, where you're dealing with big deals, you're dealing with, executives.
Yeah.
Was that a natural evolution, or is that, are you still trying to kind of figure that out?
I think it was natural. And I just, even the biggest artists, the biggest managers, the biggest teams, like, I don't care about any of that shit because at some point those people were like me. They didn't have shit. You know what I mean? So like I'll go in an office or wherever, and I think it's kind of followed me throughout the years. Everybody knows Danny's going to say what he wants when he wants. Yeah. And he's going to worry about it later. Cause I can be an asshole. If you don't know me, like I could say something that is very like, you know, simple, but it could be taken the wrong way. Yeah. So that's kind of like followed me over the years. Like, yo, Danny's going to keep it real. He's going to tell you how he feels. Yes, he's doing it. No, he's not doing it. So going into meetings with those people, it's helped.
And you've established a precedent.
For sure. Like,
that's tough, man.
You either way, whether you fuck with me or not, you know where you stand with me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like, sure. It over the years, it just progressed into like, I don't even worry about the big manager artist thing about it. Everybody had nothing at some point.
If you fuck with somebody as a human being,
yes,
it's going to be a road travel.
Yeah. And people will feel that in a meeting.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You'll know in a meeting if, you know, that person is rocking with you or not, or if I'm real or not.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's helped. And I never try to live up to whatever was in front of me. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, I know everybody in the industry. You know what I mean? It's like, we're all trying to figure it out.
For sure.
Still.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, there's still people that'll call me, Danny, what do you think? I'm like, yo, you guys just sold 1 million records. Why are you calling me? I don't know. Like, so like, when everybody's still trying to figure it out. For sure. You know what I mean? I still operate like that. Like,
with speaking of everybody still trying to figure it out, and as we all are continuously, I want to delve into kind of just like the personal happiness sphere in the natural progression of growth and becoming.
For sure.
Because, you know, any entertainment grind or just personal journey is highs, lows, emptiness, depression, just, you know, we may be connected to everybody, but still feel alone.
For sure.
Were there moments that you went through those things, and how did you kind of overcome them? Because now you're also on this tip of like healthy and bringing health into your life, you know, for a point. And I'm the king of fucking ebbs and flows in that category. You know what I'm saying? My fat ass. But how were those times for you, and how did you get through them? And how do you look at also now being more grown in this process?
Yeah.
Do you look at personal happiness differently and value yourself differently as opposed to that sphere of industry?
For sure. I mean, you know, growing up when we were young, it was all about, you know, doing what we love, but, you know, being in hip hop, but also making money and just, you know, having fun with money. But it's like, as you grow up and start making money, you realize like, yo, like you have to be healthy to keep making money.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I don't remember, I mean, my health thing kicked off with a bet from Anthony. You know Anthony Soleil. He manages Nas, Future, Joey Badass, a bunch of people. And, you know, we were all just a group of friends hanging out, eating like freaking kings. We went to Din Tai Fung in Glendale, and like, you know, we got back to the house and like, we realized like, yo, we're fucking fat. You know what I mean? And like everybody's like bagging on each other.
Yeah.
You know, and then it turns into like, yo, I bet you can't lose 30 pounds in 30 days. So it's like, all right, bet $1,000. So I took the bet. I won the bet, but I didn't want his money because it's not, at this point, it's not about money.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm living for future generations at this point. Like I'm looking at like, okay, second house, third house, you know what I mean? What can I leave behind me? You know what I mean? Because we're getting older. It's just like cars, clothes, jewelry, like none of that shit is like means anything, you know?
For sure. Yeah.
Personal happiness and health, like right now is definitely huge on my list, like huge. And there were times where, you know, I was very unhealthy. You know, you go on a record label, they're like, yo, Danny, you want candy? You want chips? We'll order you this. You want soda? You want, you know, you go in a studio, same thing. You're on set. It's like not the healthiest food.
No.
So it's like, I don't think I ever dealt with, I never dealt with depression or anxiety or just any of that stuff. I think my stuff has always been, short temper, and then, being super emotional, but also I would say like the most shit is like being unhealthy, and like trying to get through that, but not really asking anybody for help. You know what I mean? Cause it's kind of like, like Danny's always had the answers. He's always going to fight back. He'll figure it out. So it's like, when you're an athlete, you're like, oh, I could lose weight.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I never really was like, never told anybody, I'm out of shape. Help me. I didn't do that shit until this bet. You know what I mean? So for a long time, I was just like going through the years of just like making money and eating like an asshole. You know what I mean? So it's like a different type of being in like a hole almost. Like
for sure.
There's the dark cloud of your health sucks hanging over you.
And knowing it.
Like some people deal with depression or suicide or, there's a bunch of issues.
Yeah.
My thing was always like, dude, you're not in high school anymore. You don't look like you're in high school anymore. Like you're not
and
healthy.
you're just not feeling good.
Like there was a time where every day I'd have like a splitting headache. Like every day. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking like stupid headaches.
Yeah.
And that's obviously from not eating right and not drinking enough water, not working out. You know what I mean? I'd wake up, I'd wake up 11 a.m. You got a meeting at 12. What are you going to do? Like, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven. I'm going to grab a chips off of the thing, maybe a cake or a cookies and a soda, and then get in the car and then go to the meeting. But like doing that continuously, or like going through Del Taco drive-through before the meeting, you know what I mean? But nobody really understanding like how bad you're eating.
For sure.
But me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I dealt with that a lot, and it wasn't until like this year it was just like enough, like you're probably going to get diabetes or some crazy shit if you don't get it together, So like this year I really just pressed the gas on the health thing. Just 'cause
I'm proud of you for that though, for real.
That's incredible, man.
Thank you. So yeah, it's funny because everybody has their own demons that they deal with. But I think that one, like when I was little, obviously the demon was, parents breaking up.
Yeah.
Anger issues and just being emotional or whatever. But as I got older, it was just like, money. Like, am I going to have enough money to survive? Or like, how can I get more money? And then now when you get money, it's like, oh, your health sucks. So it's like a range of, stuff to deal with.
It's also like I think we're so ingrained with that culture of like career, get a job, make money, be secure, all this stuff that you're like, I'll do that later. I'll deal with my shit later.
Yeah.
Where you have to find a moment to reverse those roles.
For sure.
And you realize, man.
And hopefully it comes on our own accord and not like a life-threatening event or like a cataclysmic moment.
Right.
No, absolutely.
Right.
And often when they do reverse, you realize that it only enhances what you're already doing. It doesn't stop it.
Right.
Feeling like I'll get to that later.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be closed off and focused. It will catch up to you.
For sure. It was catching up to me for sure. Along with, not being an alcoholic, but being able to drink and be able to operate in like drunk states.
Yeah.
Like I drink one thing. I drink whiskey.
Yeah.
So there was like, going out continuously and having 5 Jack and Cokes, but then driving. You know what I mean? So that on top of not eating right,
for sure.
Those two things is just kind of like
recipe for disaster.
I just felt like, something is about to catch you. And I felt like that a couple years ago and I took a break. Like I went 2 years sober, no smoking, no drinking, just cause I felt like my luck was running out. You know what I mean? And I just woke up one New Year's and was just like, that's it. And I did 1 year and then I was like, I'm going to make it 2 years. I saved a lot of money, but it was the most 2 boring years of my life. so, I stopped, but it's like, it took that thing to, get it in control. It's like,
Absolutely.
Okay, Danny, you can go out and have fun off no drinks.
Balance though.
You can have fun off 1 drink, and then Uber came. So now it's like, okay, you can have 3 drinks, but it's still, I still like fuck up every now and then.
For sure.
Like I drove home like last night when I shouldn't have, you know, but it's like, those are the things that I feel like I'm focused on. Like being able to like stay healthy, stay out of trouble, keep everything in order, be successful, but then do it for whoever's coming next.
For sure.
You know, I don't have any kids, but it's like at some point there will be kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like I'm at the age where I'm thinking on those lines.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your sights for the future?
Man, I feel like I'm always do videos just because I grew up watching them and I grew up in the era of music videos. So I love them that much and I just love music that much. So even no matter what I go on to do, I feel like I will always figure a way to do a music video.
For sure.
Just because I love creating from that space, you know, taking an artist's vision and taking a song and then interpreting it my own way for a fan to like it. Like I will always love that, but obviously, you know, I've done screenwriting, I've done some stuff for TV, I've done a few commercials, but TV and film is where, you know, I want to be. So obviously those worlds, those doors are harder to knock down, but little by little, I'm like kicking some of those doors down. So it's like being able to write and then, you know, make movies is the goal. You know, and I also just want to keep helping people. Like I'm already like talking to my boy who owns a summer camp, but I'm telling him like, yo, how can we get 10 kids, 10 cameras, 10 laptops, and let's have like the film summer camp.
Incredible.
You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
And there's already like a couple people that, you know, are down to fund the idea, but it's like,
That's awesome.
I'm all, cause I didn't have that growing up.
Absolutely.
There was nothing like that. Like there was like, you go to a camp and you paint, but it's like technology. You know, a kid can go to Target, buy a camera, buy a computer. You can put something on YouTube. It'll go around the world. Like we didn't have that.
For sure.
So I just want to keep helping people and man, just keep creating for sure. Like
I love it.
Movies is where I'm at.
I have no doubt that you'll be doing that, my brother.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
For real.
For sure.
You have an incredible journey. You're an incredible human being.
Thank you, man.
And I can't wait to continue to see you blossom.
For sure. Thank you.
And reach your own personal and professional accolades.
Same with you.
You know what I'm saying?
Like we got to do one of these. You got to let somebody sit there to do yours here.
Absolutely.
Like I know through the stories you guys tell, you guys elaborate on the things you guys went through. But
for sure.
We'll get there.
You should do an episode where you have two guest hosts.
Absolutely.
And interview you two.
You know, it's crazy. You're the second person that brought that up. Yusuf wanted to do that also.
Okay. Oh, he has a podcast too, I think.
Yeah, Cool Table Podcast now.
Word.
But yeah, that's definitely going to happen.
For sure.
For sure. It was a blessing to have you on, my brother. This was incredible.
For sure.
And I appreciate you just being vulnerable with your story too. And
Definitely.
like, you know, I think one of the things we like to highlight on here is those personal moments going through it. It's, you know, and being able to kind of stare at yourself and be in the arena and be like, you know, okay with who you are, knowing that you got to get the fuck somewhere else.
True.
Whether that is your career, whether that's pivoting from a situation, or whether it's like your personal health, being like, look, everything is good, but this is terrible.
For sure.
Let me change that. And I think for people, you know, listening that are dealing with all these things, and, you know, we all have like demons and things that can, you know, influence the directions that we're going in. And, so, you know, success or money or all those things can often like cloud what you're doing.
Definitely.
But, so for happiness and health to be, I think, your foundation and a really true through line of your story is something that's just this amazing for this platform.
For sure. Thank you.
So thank you, man.
And God bless your mother, bro.
For sure.
real.
Yeah, man. Shout out to
I
you.
hope one day we're able to meet her, have some food with her, take her out to dinner.
You will, for sure. She's like in Seattle and like Vancouver. Like she went to Seattle and then Vancouver just to like go.
I love it.
She's amazing.
I love it.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Sure.
Where can people find you?
The main company is The Top Shelf Company. Everything spelled out, thetopshelfcompany.com, which is like the website as the directors and like our previous work.
Got it.
But then my personal Instagram is Topshelf Junior. It's Top Shelf and then Junior spelled out. And then the Twitter is The Top Shelf Company.
Okay.
So, I mean, it used to be We Shoot People.
Cool.
Just because that was just my Twitter handle.
Yeah.
Like, We Shoot People.
Yeah.
And people didn't get it, but some people got it. Obviously, it's about the camera. Like,
For real.
The Avi was like behind the camera. It's like, We Shoot People. But, the topshelfcompany.com. Topshelf Junior is the Instagram. Topshelfjunior.com is my website.
Awesome.
And then the Twitter is the Top Shelf Company.
Beautiful.
Crazy.
Sure. Thank you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, bro.
It's
really
your two favorite uncles signing out. You know what I'm saying? Call your mother, tell her you love her. Shout out to AJ Roland for that. You feel me?
For sure.
Love.
Oh, yeah.